I guess I should talk a little bit about Brett Keane and what his videos have meant to me. Now, before I even logged on, before I was even a member of this site, before I decided that I was going to make videos of my own, I used to watch Brett Keane's videos. Now, back in those days, he did not show his face. He did not... it was just a voice. It was always just a picture and a voice, and I liked his voice immediately. I would be lying if I said I had I would be lying if I said I had a positive first impression. My first impression was that he was way too abrasive, way too angry, way too dark, and maybe a little bit. He seemed kind of cynical and hard-bitten, and that really wasn't the kind of atheism I wanted to talk about here on YouTube. But after actually being in the trenches for about a few weeks and realizing the level of stupidity I was up against here, I started to come around a lot more to his way of thinking. And if you watch my earlier videos, you can see a much more passive, amazing atheist. It wasn't until What's-His-Face made his little video about how atheism, how he hates atheists, and how atheists are a bunch of douchebags, and how all of our arguments are invalid, and such and so on. And I did my first rage video, and that was when kind of the amazing atheist really came into his own. And that was when I started really paying more attention to Brett Keane, and started watching his videos, and started watching him use the Bible against people. Started listening to him and learning new things about the parts of the Bible that you're not taught to read in church, which I've never really been to, maybe a few times. So I would say after that he became probably my favorite atheist on YouTube, and I pretty much watched. I don't watch all his videos because he does post a lot, but I usually watch at least one or two of his videos a day. I'm always sure to rate them. I try to comment whenever I have anything pertinent to say, but I'm not the kind of person who's just going to say it's good, because I've got so many videos of my own, and with YouTube's comment limits, it's I try not to waste a comment unless I have anything really valuable to say. So that's the reason I don't always comment, but I always rate it, and I always give it 5 stars because it's always worthy of it. Anyway. I kind of saw from the start that this was someone who was going to step on toes. This is someone who isn't going to sit well with everyone. Even initially, when I wasn't crazy about him, I kind of said to myself, but he's out there and he just has his style and he's fighting the fight the way he sees it. And, I knew I wasn't going to do anything about it, but I know that some people can't stand anyone with a different approach. They always think that everyone has to think the same way they do. Mr. Morton Blogs is a good example of that. Hard Case Owns is apparently another good example, although I expected better from him. But I'm not going to get to him until the end of this video. Looking at Brett, I saw that this is someone who's been beaten down quite a few times in his life. Even before I heard the stories, before he started talking about his mother's suicide and all of his other problems that he's had through his life, mostly relating to religion, mostly relating to, just really shitty luck in some departments, at least for a while there. It seems like he's doing all right now. He's got a beautiful family and a beautiful wife and all that. And, all that stuff that, the American dream out there, and he's, seems like he's living a pretty good life now. But I could tell that he was someone who'd been beaten down so many times. Someone who, you could really hear it in his voice, you can see it in his face, you can see it in his hair, and I think the reason his hair is gray is probably somewhat related to that, if it's not just genetic. But, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of people out there who are beaten down. I think most of us are beaten down. Everyone's beaten upon. The world. It's the nature of the world to beat down upon us. And I think most people, once they get beaten down one too many times, they decide, well, I'm not going to get beaten down anymore. I'm just going to stay down here, and whatever the world wants, I'll give it. And Brett Keane is one of those rare examples of the person who says, that's it, I'm tired of this shit. You're never knocking me down again. I'm going to stand firm. I don't give a shit. Bring what you will. Hurricanes, tornadoes, all that shit. You're not knocking me down again, motherfucker! That's the kind of shit I see in Brett Keane's eyes when he shows them anyway. That's the kind of Brett Keane I think of. That person. When I think of Brett Keane on a level of just pure metaphor, I kind of see him like standing on the rocks as the tidal waves come in, and he just, the currents come, and nature throws its fury at him, and he just stands tall and defiant. That's the Brett Keane I think of. And you can point out plenty of flaws with his videos. I still think he's too aggressive. Maybe that seems hypocritical coming from me. I don't know. I still think that I think sometimes he does the wrong things. I'm sure sometimes he thinks I do the wrong things. I'm sure he thinks that a lot of us